I'd like to introduce you to the cheap Amazon wiring harness. So this thing was like 58 bucks. It's 14 circuit, so we'll see. It actually looks pretty good. Everything's labeled nice, and you know, it's decent gauge wire, so we'll see how this does. And then I got the off-brand Deutsch connectors, you know, because Deutsch connectors are the best, but they're kind of out of the budget right now. So I got the knockoffs. So we'll see how these things work and see if they cause me problems. And then since I'm going with the fiberglass bumper, I'm kind of losing my turn signal. So I bought me some LED headlights, which I'm still not sure I like these. We might replace these at some point, depending on how they look once they're on the car. But they have the halo, and the halo also acts as a signal light. So that's why I got them. And they came with their own little harness and stuff too, so that's good. The only thing I'm looking for the engine harness, which I thought was in this box, and it's not. So I thought it was going to be in this box, and it's not. So I gotta go dig up my engine harness because I honestly don't remember where I left it. So kind of weird. Getting old and forgetting stuff. I had zero recollection of where I put this thing. So luckily past me did put it in someplace safe, but current me has no freaking memory of me doing that. By the way, I found it. So, you know, I got the MicroSquirt. This is bought from way back when from EFI Source, which it's sweet setup. You only had to hook up 2 wires, and pretty much, you know, you had to power it up, and then it handled everything for you, which was nice. And then I got my old gauges, which I'm probably going to put back in. It's just temp gauge, the AIM True Boost, the wide band, and then this was my line lock for when it was automatic, which I'll probably leave it the same. That worked well. And then I got some coils, which I'm glad to redo my coil mounts. Probably try to find something a little bit nicer. These were homemade ones, but in the past they were in the car where nobody could see it, so it really didn't matter. But we'll probably try to spend a little bit of time trying to make them a little bit nicer looking, but we may not, so we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna start getting this thing all laid out. All right, so here's the old MicroSquirt, which is, this was the ticket, you know, 7-8 years ago before the Holly came out with the Terminator, when everything was cheaper. But you know, you can still get these for like $300-400 bucks, which is a pretty good deal if you make your own harness. I think it's a little bit more expensive if you buy their harness. But so I've got the MicroSquirt. You can see how it's pretty simple. And then I did add on the stepper motor to control the IAC valve. I was never that good of a tuner, so my car would run, but I always had idle issues, so I took a shortcut and bought that guy, so then I could just control the idle a little bit easier with that. Made it a little bit easier. You know, wide open throttle tuning's easy to me because you just look at it, add fuel, or take away fuel, especially doing what we're doing, right? What I'm doing, I'm not trying max effort or anything. I'm just trying to have fun. So, you know, you can just get on Sloppy Mechanics, download one of their tunes, and then just play with the air fuel, and you're good to go. And you know, you make 500-600 horsepower all day long, so it's pretty cool that way. We got the harness coming through the firewall, getting this side all plugged in, and got the air temp sense, coolant temperature down there, IAC right here, all the fuel injectors. And this guy will be the coil packs. And then I run a 3-bar map sensor, so one thing you got to be careful is my map sensor, and where is it? Map sensor and crank sensor have the same plug, so make sure you check. So like, I just pulled them apart and made sure I read the wire. That's one thing. I bought the nice harness, so everything's labeled. So this is actually the crank sensor and ground, so those will go that way. And then this is my freaking map sensor, so it'll go up here. So boom, so those will go together, and then I just got to plug in my injectors, my crank sensor, and hook up a few grounds. So super easy with the MicroSquirt to get it wired. And then I'll run this guy around to my yeah, I said IAC. This is actually throttle position, sorry about that. This is my AAC, so I got to get it routed and get it plugged in there. So yeah, so harness will be super easy. Just be a little tricks, you know, getting how I want to, because when I rewire the car, you know, all new power and stuff, so just got to figure out how I want to tie that in. And make sure I hook up the anti-lag and the two-step and all that happy stuff. All right, so these are my headlights I got off Amazon, headlight bucket. And so I want these, so the plan is to be able to remove the whole radiator support. So this thing actually came with pigtails, so you can just wire it in, right? And then it also came with some adapters, which surprisingly enough, I do believe my cheap electrical connection setup I bought off Amazon is the same size. So we're gonna try to wire that up, and then hopefully these guys can handle the juice going through, which they're LEDs, right? So they shouldn't pull a huge amount of power. But at the same time, these things have a huge heat sink. So we're gonna give this a try and see if these hopefully don't melt down, burn the car down. And then I gotta figure out which, the lights didn't come with any instructions because they're, I guess, designed to be plug and play. And then one of these is for signal light and one is for the halo for driving. So I got to figure that out too. And then we'll probably cut this off and put one of these on here too, like so. And that way all this stuff will be removable. And I think that's the way to go. But I got my old headlight, so I'm going to try to cut this off, or cut the wires and then pull it through. But you know, I need this to go on these wires, and I really don't want to cut these since I think that connector is going to work. So still working through that. I may just put my connector on this guy and call it good, because it's doing the same, and that way I can run these wires through there. So anyway, we're gonna get at it. That was a pain, but I think it's worth it. So I pulled the old wires out of the boot, and I got the new wires pulled in. This will be the ground. I got to figure out which one, you know, this will be the ground. Then I got to figure out which one's low beam, high beam, and then which one's running lights and which one's turn signal, which I don't know. There's no instructions in the box or anything. So I've got a 12 volt power supply, so let me go grab it and then we'll test some wires and hopefully don't short nothing out. All right, so I got the headlight hooked up, got the wires hooked up, got the battery, the power supply. So I used to always use drill batteries for stuff like this, but they're hardly ever 12 volts anymore. They're always like 20 volt and all that crap. So I got this guy for other projects. So let's see if we're gonna blow something up here. So I don't know which one. Let's see. So what do you think? I think that's low beam. I'm thinking that's high beam. Or do you think it should be both when they're high beam? I honestly don't know. It's hard to tell. So maybe, let me set this up so you can watch the light. So that's the top light, and that's the bottom light. Oh my goodness. All right, so okay, I don't know which is which though, but so that's high beam, low beam, and then let's check out the daylight running lights. These should be the halo light. Oh, that's turn signal. And that means the yellow schmello is the halo for driving. So cool. I think I got everything figured out. I got to figure out. All right, so I got my first connector made. Turned out perfect. One problem. It's supposed to go through that hole. I was supposed to put the connector on after I got it through there. So I'm gonna see if I can either D-pin this one or D-pin this one, and then we'll get it back in there. All right, so I was actually able to, let me show you. I was actually able to take this one apart much easier than the one I just made and then force it through. So got the headlight in the bucket, got the waterproof in. I'll probably put a dab of silicone in right here, and then got my connector, so that way we can just one click and unhook. I don't think these connectors will be an issue because this guy actually was showing me the amps it was pulling, and it only pulls 3 amps on high, so that's pretty awesome on high beams. So I don't think I'll have a problem with it. So we'll go get the other one done. All right, so we're working on the second one. you can see I remember to put it through my headlight bucket this time. So all I gotta do is make this connector, and then we'll probably bolt both of these on the car, and maybe get the grill and the headlight bezels out and stuff, and just put it together for giggles, see how it looks. All right, so we got this thing vacuumed out. Went ahead and got my wideband, temp gauge, and my true boost ready, and the wires pulled through the dash, in the hole in the dash there. Got my dash. So this is just fuel, turn signals. The green one is when my meth pump comes on, and the red one over here is extra. I just put it in there just in case I ever wanted to do anything. And then it's just a 7-inch tablet, like an Amazon Fire, that works wirelessly with the MicroSquirt. And then I got the Amazon harness. So now we're gonna start wiring all this stuff together. And here's the MicroSquirt. I'm probably gonna take it off this aluminum plate. Before I had it in here like this, and it rode on top of the heater box, but no heater box this time. So I'm thinking we might take this loose and just bolt it to the firewall. That's what I'm kicking around, but still thinking about that. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get some wire cutters and snippers and start planning some stuff. Alright, so I went ahead and just mounted the MicroSquirt in the glove box there. And then I got these guys right here for my main power and main ground. So I'm gonna put those up on the wall up in there, which you really can't see. Hold on. I got these two guys, which I'm gonna put up on the wall up in there. It's kind of hard to see. And then I'll just run like a 8 gauge, maybe a 10 gauge from the battery in the back all the way up here. Alright, so we've just decided to mount everything up in the passenger side here. So I got a hot, I'm gonna run wires from the battery for both of those. And then we'll pull power from for the MicroSquirt and for this there. And then I'll just run all my wires where I need them to go. So hopefully we'll make some good progress. I'm still figuring out what I'm gonna do for switches. I'm really thinking before over on the driver's side, but I just had a toggle switches mounted down here, so you really couldn't see them. And I had one for the ignition and one for the fan and all that heavy stuff. I think I might do that again, just have a few more of them, or I might buy one of those switch panels off Amazon. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but we'll figure it out soon. Alright, what's up everyone? So it's the next day and there's a train going by, but been working on the headlights. So we have daytime running lights. So I have these on anytime the car's on. I'll just have these on. I think they look pretty cool. They're not the highest quality halos because you can kind of see the individual LEDs, but they look good from a distance. So we got those guys, and then we got passenger turn signal. Here's the other signal, and then yellow's low beam. Ooh, light. And then blue's high beam. But you get the idea. So headlights done. So just got to run this stuff to the back and then into the front of the car. And then probably going to start wiring up the True Boost and the wideband center and go from there. Alright, so I got the True Boost Mac valve wired up. So I'll just eventually have to run a line from there, a boost line from there to the wastegate, which will go right here. But it's wired up, so I'm just trying to figure out everything I need up front and getting it wired up, which I think I'm getting pretty close to being done. I still gotta, like the fans, I have to figure out the fans, but the wiring, but I bought the kit from, I'll tell you later when I dig it out, but I have the kit for wiring that up, so I'm gonna probably just pull off power, probably put a big fuse and a breaker on the back of the alternator and just pull power from there. So that'll be easy because it'll auto come on. It's got a temperature sensor, so it'll come on at 185 degrees all by itself. So I'm not gonna run anything up front. I'll just let it all control and hopefully it'll work well. So I'm fixing to hop in the front and start wiring that stuff up. And yeah, progress. Alright, I think we're going to have to go find the light. It's kind of dark in here. But hindsight being what it is, I probably should have bought a harness with a lot less wiring, because I don't need that many circuits. So I'm just going to have a whole bunch of extra stuff, which would be neat if I ever add anything to the car. But so this is my battery. So I'm going to get it shortened and hooked up to my post up there that you saw me earlier in the video. Can't really see it now. But I'm going to get it shortened up, put it in, and then I'm going to run one. So the car, I use toggle switches to turn on the ignition and stuff, and then I have a, can you see it over here? Oh, sorry. I got a push button to start. So I'll get that wired up. And then, you know, figure out what else I want hooked up. So, and finish hooking up. I got the, like I said, I got the True Boost and the wideband to wire up, which the True Boost is wired up outside. I just gotta get these guys and wire them up on the inside. So we'll get at it. I was waiting for Amazon, so I got some toggle switches. So the plan is to run ignition, wipers, lights, signal lights off toggle switches. I wanted to get one of those cool turn signal switches that go on the lightweight steering column, but I just don't want to spend the money right now. We may upgrade later. But I'll show you where I'm going to put these things, and we'll get these wired in, get my dash wired in, and then finish up the True Boost and the wideband on the inside. And then the majority of the wiring will be done. I still need to loom some stuff, and I'll still need to add some stuff like my anti-lag button, my scramble button, and line lock. I'm going to use the one toggle switch you saw before earlier in the video. That'll be the arming switch, but then I need to decide on my shift handle. So if I'm going to do a pistol grip or T-handle or whatever. But we'll get all that figured out, and we're going to get on this thing. And I'll hope, probably this video is getting a little long and it's just dealing with wiring, so I'll probably just do it and then show you, you know, the end result, because, you know, nobody really wants to watch me squeeze crimpers and wires. But I'll show you anyway. We've been busy making connectors. So this will be for the LED for my fan indicator. These are LEDs, the hot for the green and the red LED up there. One of those will be my meth and one will be extra. These are left and right turn signal indicators. And these are the 2 gauge light, oil pressure, fuel level. And then it was kind of funky, so 2 grounds, 2 powers, even though I didn't need that. But the way I didn't want to take it all apart, so we went with that. And then I got this guy on for my temperature gauge, and then I got this guy on. So this will be power and ground for the wideband and the True Boost, and then it's the white wire right here is the O2 out that goes to the MicroSquirt for the wideband, and the orange will be my scramble button for the True Boost. So we'll get all this stuff wired up into here and call it good. All right, so this is a kit I bought off Amazon. And what I need is some connectors like this. Is that focusing? Woo. And what I need is connectors like this. But all it has, that's the only one in the whole kit. It's got a whole bunch of the male ones, but it's only got one female in the whole box. So that's probably why it was on sale. Yeah, so I just looked through everything and I don't have any. I've got some little ones, but I need bigger ones because some of these are going to have the good old multi-wire in them. So I need to run 2 or 3 wires for like the turn signals, you know, because I got front signal, rear signal, and the indicator light. So I definitely need a blue or yellow, probably just blue. But anyway, we're going to decide if we're going to go to the parts store or if we're just going to go inside. So ended up going to the parts store, got me a 20 pack. Hopefully that'll be enough. Which I've got 5 toggle switches, so that'll be 15. That gives me 5 spares. So let's get at this thing. Alright, so we got most of the wiring done. Still got a little bit to do in the back and then a little tidying up over there. Those are the extra wires I'm not going to use. But so I got a toggle switch down here. Kind of arms the ignition and then push button to start it. Toggle switch for the headlights. Toggle switch for the windshield wipers. And then my plan to do the whole toggle switch blinkers didn't work out, so I bought this thing. Man, this thing's ugly, but it was 20 bucks off Amazon, and you know, it works. So it'll have to do for Christmas or my birthday. Maybe I'll get the Motion Raceworks one because it looks a whole lot cooler. But that'll work for now. And yeah, it's pretty cheesy. I might try to plastic dip that thing black or something. But anyway, so wiring's done. Well, I say done, but there's still fiddly things. Like I still got to do the button on the steering wheel for the scramble. I got to do my line lock and anti-lag / two-step there that the MicroSquirt has, and a little wiring in the trunk. But all in all, it's done. Car can start, so that's great.